ceLLM, a novel framework for understanding the impact of microwave radiation on cellular function and epigenetics. The ceLLM, or Cellular Latent Learning Model, is a pioneering framework that combines current scientific knowledge with the visionary insights of John Coates, the founder of RFSafe. This model offers a new perspective on how cells interpret and respond to their environment through a complex network of resonant field connections within DNA. The ceLLM proposes that these wireless connections, akin to neural networks, create a probabilistic framework guiding cellular behavior based on evolutionary learning. This model also addresses a significant concern: the effect of microwave radiation as entropic waste on cellular processes. Entropic waste, including electromagnetic fields and radiation, can disrupt these resonant connections, leading to potential epigenetic changes and cellular dysfunction. By exploring the ceLLM, we gain a deeper understanding of how external environmental factors like microwave radiation pose a risk to all forms of life. This framework not only sheds light on the fundamental mechanisms of cellular function, but also emphasizes the need for greater awareness and research into the epigenetic impacts of entropic waste on biological systems. Basic concepts and terminology. ceLLM overview. The ceLLM, or Cellular Latent Learning Model, is a theoretical framework suggesting that DNA and atomic interactions within cells create a network of neural-like connections. In this model, each cell is viewed as an individual ceLLM that interprets and responds to environmental cues, much like how a neural network processes information. The ceLLM model serves as a novel approach to understanding cellular behavior, highlighting the role of resonant field connections in shaping cellular responses. Resonant field connections. In this model, atoms within DNA resonate at specific frequencies, forming what can be thought of as wireless connections. These connections influence the behavior and function of the cell. Similar to weighted connections in neural networks, these resonant fields between atomic elements in DNA create an energetic network that guides cellular processes. These connections are not direct influences between atoms, but rather the result of resonating energy potentials that create a network of interactions within the DNA structure. Latent space geometry. The resonant connections form a geometric space known as latent space, where each point represents a potential interaction or state. This space guides how a cell interprets its environment and decides its response. The structure of this latent space is determined by the resonant connections and their strengths, forming a probabilistic framework that influences cellular outcomes. Probabilistic framework. The ceLLM operates on a probabilistic basis. The strength of the resonant connections affects the likelihood of certain cellular responses, much like how the weights in a neural network affect its outputs. This probabilistic nature allows cells to adapt and function within their environment based on the learned evolutionary data encoded in their DNA. How ceLLM operates in cells. Autonomous cellular behavior. Each cell acts as an individual sensor, using its ceLLM to interpret environmental signals and respond accordingly. The ceLLM is essentially a pre-trained network, shaped by evolutionary processes to optimize the cell's responses for survival and function. This autonomous behavior means that each cell can independently interpret its environment and adjust its function without needing direct communication with other cells. Environmental interaction. Cells use their ceLLM to evaluate bioelectric fields in their environment and adjust their function in real time. This interaction is mediated by the cell's interpretation of the resonant field connections within its DNA, which guides its responses to external signals. The ceLLM allows the cell to act in a way that contributes to the organism's overall fitness, ensuring that the cell's actions align with the needs of its environment. Emergence of cellular communication. In the ceLLM model, cellular communication is not seen as direct interaction between cells. Instead, it is an emergent property of individual cells autonomously responding to their environment. Each cell interprets the bioelectric cues it receives, and its behavior is guided by the resonant connections within its ceLLM. This results in coordinated responses across cells, giving the appearance of communication even though each cell is acting independently. Relation to neural networks and evolutionary learning. Neural network analogy. The ceLLM is analogous to artificial neural networks. In neural networks, connections between neurons or synapses have weights that are adjusted during training to shape the network's output. Similarly, in the ceLLM, resonant connections between atomic elements in DNA act like weights, influencing how cells respond to environmental signals. These resonant field connections create a complex network that determines the cell's behavior. Evolutionary learning. The ceLLM structure has been trained through evolutionary processes. Over millions of years, evolutionary pressures have optimized the resonant connections within DNA to produce cellular responses that enhance survival and adaptation. This evolutionary learning has resulted in a probabilistic framework where the cell's responses are shaped by the geometry of the latent space formed by these connections. Entropic waste and its effects. Definition of entropic waste. Entropic waste refers to the disorder or energy loss within a system. In the context of the ceLLM, it particularly concerns how electromagnetic fields and radiation can disrupt the natural resonant connections within cells. This disruption can interfere with the ceLLM's ability to interpret environmental cues, potentially leading to errors in cellular function. Impact on ceLLM and cellular function. Entropic waste, such as RF radiation, can interfere with the resonant connections within the ceLLM. This interference can disrupt the bioelectric fields that cells use to interpret their environment, leading to potential misinterpretations and errors in cellular behavior. Over time, this disruption can affect the cell's ability to maintain its function and contribute to the organism's overall health. Health implications. Long-term exposure to entropic waste can pose health risks by disrupting cellular signaling and communication. Potential risks include DNA damage, oxidative stress, and altered gene expression, which could contribute to the development of diseases such as cancer, neurological disorders, and hormonal imbalances. Understanding the ceLLM and its susceptibility to entropic waste could help in developing strategies to mitigate these risks. Evidence of entropic waste effects. Scientific studies and research. There is growing evidence that EMFs can impact cellular processes. Studies have shown that exposure to non-ionizing radiation can cause DNA damage, alter gene expression, and affect cellular signaling. For instance, research by the National Toxicology Program, NTP, and the Ramazzini Institute has demonstrated potential carcinogenic effects of non-ionizing radiation, suggesting that these disruptions in cellular communication can lead to adverse health outcomes. Real-world examples, such as the studies mentioned above, provide evidence of the potential risks associated with exposure to RF radiation. These studies found increased incidences of certain cancers in animals exposed to non-ionizing radiation, highlighting the need for further research into the long-term effects of entropic waste on human health. Understanding ceLLM in the context of health and disease. Disruptions in the ceLLM network could lead to diseases by interfering with the cell's ability to interpret and respond to its environment correctly. For example, cancer may result from a breakdown in the ceLLM's probabilistic framework, leading to uncontrolled cell growth. Similarly, neurological disorders and hormonal imbalances could arise from disruptions in cellular signaling due to entropic waste. Understanding the ceLLM could lead to new approaches in medical interventions. For example, If we can identify how RF radiation disrupts the ceLLM, we could develop strategies to protect cells from this interference. Additionally, controlled use of RF radiation could be explored for therapeutic purposes, such as targeting cancer cells by disrupting their ceLLM in a way that leads to their destruction. Metaphors and analogies for easier understanding. One way to understand resonant field connections in ceLLM is to think of them like wireless communication. Just as a cell phone connects to a tower without direct contact, atoms within DNA resonate at frequencies that connect them wirelessly, forming a network that guides cellular behavior. This analogy helps explain how ceLLM operates without the need for direct physical connections between atoms. The cell's response to its environment can be likened to a fitness function, similar to how a thermostat adjusts to maintain a set temperature. The ceLLM interprets environmental cues and adjusts the cell's behavior to maintain balance and contribute to the organism's overall fitness. This fitness function has been optimized through evolution, guiding the cell's responses to ensure its survival and proper function. The ceLLM's latent space can be related to geometric structures like the amplituhedron in physics. Just as the amplituhedron simplifies complex quantum interactions into a geometric form, the ceLLM's latent space represents the probabilistic interactions within a cell in a geometric way. This analogy helps convey the idea that the ceLLM operates within a complex, multidimensional space that guides cellular behavior. As we continue to explore the ceLLM framework, it's crucial to consider the ethical implications of our discoveries. Understanding and manipulating cellular behavior at this level opens up vast possibilities for medical advancements, but also requires careful consideration of the potential risks and ethical dilemmas. Balancing innovation with ethical responsibility will be key to harnessing the full potential of ceLLM technology. Research and validation. Further research is needed to validate the ceLLM model and explore its implications fully. This includes experimental validation, where predictions made by the ceLLM model are tested in biological systems to observe how alterations in resonant connections affect cellular behavior. Advancing this research could lead to breakthroughs in our understanding of cellular communication and disease mechanisms. Ethical implications. As we delve deeper into understanding and potentially manipulating the ceLLM, ethical considerations must be addressed. Manipulating cellular functions, especially through genetic engineering or synthetic biology, raises questions about the potential impact on health and the environment. It is crucial to consider these ethical implications and ensure that advancements in this field are pursued responsibly and with consideration for the broader consequences. Practical takeaways. Risk mitigation. Understanding the potential risks of entropic waste leads to practical ways to mitigate exposure. Reducing the use of wireless devices, using protective measures like radiation shields, and advocating for updated safety guidelines are steps individuals can take to minimize their exposure to RF radiation and protect their cellular health. Awareness and advocacy. Raising awareness about the potential risks of RF radiation and the concept of entropic waste is essential. By understanding how ceLLM operates and the ways in which external factors can disrupt cellular processes, individuals can make informed choices about their exposure to wireless devices. Advocacy for more research and transparency in this area is also crucial to ensure public health is protected. Connecting it all. Synthesis. The ceLLM model provides a new lens through which to view biological processes, emphasizing the role of resonant field connections in guiding cellular behavior. By understanding how cells interpret and respond to their environment through a probabilistic framework shaped by evolutionary learning, we can gain insights into the fundamental mechanisms of life and the potential impact of external factors like entropic waste. Empowerment through knowledge. Armed with this knowledge, individuals can make more informed choices about their exposure to RF radiation and advocate for greater research and transparency in this area. Understanding the ceLLM and its implications empowers us to take proactive steps to protect our health and contribute to a broader dialogue on the responsible use of technology. Conclusion. The ceLLM model offers a revolutionary way to understand cellular behavior and the fundamental processes of life. By reconstructing this model, we can explore how resonant field connections within DNA shape the probabilistic framework that guides cellular function. This understanding has profound implications for medicine, biotechnology, and our comprehension of the nature of life itself. As we continue to explore and validate the ceLLM model, we open up new possibilities for harnessing the power of nature's wireless neural network to enhance human health and well-being.